Hey, Lake Point, Pastor Michael here to get you caught up on the first week of our series, Peace of Mind. And to kick off the series, we shared a video from Pastor Craig Groeschel. He's the lead pastor of Life Church and is the writer of the best-selling book, Winning the War in Your Mind, which, if you haven't read it, is considered one of the premier books on mental health from a Christian perspective. 30 years into Craig's pastoral ministry, he had a mental health breakdown. On the outside, everything appeared fine. He had a great marriage, 6 wonderful kids that he and his wife Amy homeschooled, and an incredibly fruitful ministry. I mean, their church has provided the Bible app free of charge to 850 million people around the world. But on the inside, he was overwhelmed by burnout and anxiety, and so he started seeing a godly counselor. And in doing so, he learned quite a bit about how to love God with your mind. Now, as Pastor Craig shared, for years, mental health has been a taboo topic in the church. Many believe that if you followed Jesus, all problems, including mental struggles, would disappear. However, while faith is powerful, it doesn't instantly eliminate every challenge in life. As Pastor Craig humorously shared, nobody ever came to Jesus and suddenly got abs, improved their credit score, or grew a full head of hair. Mental health is not just spiritual, it includes emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It's not static. Someone can be mentally strong at one point, then experience trauma or exhaustion and start to struggle. And so the first myth that Pastor Craig wanted to bust is that Christians shouldn't struggle with mental health. As he shared, many believe that if they are truly filled with the Holy Spirit, they shouldn't experience anxiety, depression, or burnout. Some assume that mental health struggles mean that they lack faith, they aren't praying enough, or they have unconfessed sin. But here's the thing. There's plenty of biblical figures who struggled mentally. Elijah, after a great victory against the prophets of Baal, he fell into a deep despair and wished to die. David, a man after God's own heart, but he frequently expressed feelings of abandonment and sorrow in the Psalms. Jeremiah, known as the weeping prophet, he battled loneliness and even cursed the day he was born. Faithful people in the Bible still faced mental struggles, which means the message is clear. You can love Jesus and still fight depression. The second myth Pastor Craig busts is that God doesn't care about mental health. You see, some people believe that God is too busy with bigger world problems to be concerned about your personal mental health struggles. However, the Psalms repeatedly show that God is close to the brokenhearted and he saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 27:1 reads that the Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Psalm 46:1 reads, God is our refuge and strength and ever-present help in trouble. And Psalm 34:18 reads, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Friends, even in darkness, God is present. One of the most haunting psalms, Psalm 88, ends without a hopeful resolution, showing that God is not afraid of our honesty, he welcomes it. One of the big things we need to do in struggling with mental health is seek help. Pastor Craig shared how he overcame his pride and sought professional counseling. Initially, he was hesitant, feeling embarrassed as a leader. However, his counselor reassured him that he wasn't spiritually or physically unhealthy, he was simply mentally exhausted. You see, seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of wisdom. Just as we visit doctors for physical health, we should seek professional help for mental health when needed. Pastor Craig went on to explain how the brain forms patterns, and he shared how every thought creates a neural pathway, and repeated thoughts make it easier to think the same way again and again. If we dwell on negative thoughts, our minds get stuck in that cycle. If we focus on God's truth, we can rewrite our thinking and renew our minds. In Isaiah 26:3, we read that you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. The phrase perfect peace in Hebrew is shalom, and shalom means complete, unshakable peace. This peace that doesn't come from life, but from being perfect, but from fixing your thoughts on God. And so, how can you experience this peace? Well, first you need to redirect your thoughts to God. Instead of repeating negative self-talk, replace it with God's promises. Second, you need to make lifestyle adjustments. Mental healing isn't only spiritual, it requires physical changes. Consider therapy, improving your diet, getting enough sleep, and surrounding yourself with the right people. The third thing is to recognize that healing takes time. It took Pastor Craig 18 months. Progress isn't instantaneous, but if we work at renewing our minds daily, we can find peace. In John 14, verse 27, Jesus is recorded as saying, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you, I do not give as the world gives. Keep in mind that Jesus spoke these words the night before his suffering on the cross, which means true peace isn't the absence of problems, it's the presence of God. So friends, as Pastor Craig shared, If you're struggling, know that you're not alone. Know that God cares about your mental health. Know that seeking help is wise, and know that you can renew your mind daily and trust God's peace is available to you. Well, friends, thanks for listening. Enjoy jumping into discussion questions. I'll see you next time.